All right, welcome back to another video. In the last video, we spent some time getting Redux set up, and we made a request to get the constants we set up previously so that we can use them in this dropdown. And we are finally there. Let's use those constants in the dropdown. So to start, let's go to our form page. Close all these. Close that. So our create school component. So within here, this is where we need those constants. And previously I mentioned that React has a useSelector tool, which allows you to get data from the store. So let's import that real quick. And then let's see, we'll probably want a store type. I'm probably going to want to set up a few types so like we know what's in our store and we know what's in our constants, etc. Do they have a good? I've never actually seen. Oh, equality function. But only returns a new object when one of the values has changed. Interesting. Anyway, we don't need that right now, at least. So let's grab that. And at the top of your create school component, you can just say from the state as of type unknown. Yeah, fair. We're getting our constants. And I think it's probably fair if we do constants dot high school categories. I believe that's going to be the name of the variable. And you can see here, once again, state is of type unknown. So we are going to need a type for our store. Let's put that here. So export type store state store. Is that fine? I'm going to just start with that. And within here, we have a constant, which is going to have its own type, which we can probably put in the constants reducer, I'd say. So then we're going to need another one, export type constants state. Oh, we already have it. Woo! Oh, and we're using interface. That's fine. I think they're essentially the same thing. We'll make them more consistent in the future. But constants is going to be of type that, which is imported from that. Why doesn't it like that? Expected equals. Equals expected. What? Huh? I wonder why. Maybe let's use the word interface for now, but I wonder why that fixed it. Anyway, now we can import that into here. Not interface. We want the store. Nope, that's not where we want it from. Where's our store type? It's in our store. Store index. And then we should be able to just say state is of type store. And high school categories does not exist on that, and that's because in our constants, okay, we just need to think for a second. Thinking. So we're also going to interface constants, which is the constant state has both constants and loading, where the constants is of type constants, which has this high school categories. And so many types when you're using TypeScript. I mean, that makes sense, but like, damn. And that's going to be a list of strings. No, it isn't. It's going to be something. To start, it's going to be empty though. It's missing. So let's actually leave it as a default. By default, it's empty. That satisfies the type. And then back here, okay, we have to do constants. We'll fix that because it's state. Our reducer is setting the state to constants, and then our constant state has both constants and loading. We could maybe just change this to value, and that would change it to state, the constant state, the value of it, rather than like the loading of it. And then what we can do is we can do that, map over these, and for each category, return an option with the c.name. And I have no idea what it's going to do, because I think we got the type wrong entirely. Missing key prop. Key equals C. All right, this is going to break 100%, but we're close. High school, yeah, not a function. So the type, we said it was an array. It's actually an object. That, yeah, right here we said it was a list of strings, which is not true. No, we shouldn't say it's any. What's the type of high school category? Is this an object? Do I need to go all the way down? It seems excessive if we're defining each value in the front end as well. TypeScript type JSON object, like object. Yeah, that seems fine. So maybe we do values. .map. Or is it keys? Or is it something else? TypeScript object values. Okay, let's do that. Oops. That's the object, map it for each key, do this. Well, the key is probably the key. The value is probably the key. And the actual display value is going to be high school categories with that key passed in. And if we just do that, implicitly has element implicitly has any type because expression of type string can't be used to index type object. No index, okay. Can you do object.keys and get both keys and values? Maybe that's just a better way of doing it. Just give me both. Oh, entries, I think I saw that. Entry, oh wait, entries. So now we have key and value, right? And then this is gonna be the value. Type string or any. One thing we can do is, this isn't just a type of, we can do interface constant, so like one example of one. Can we? Okay, actually, I don't know what I was thinking, so. TypeScript, TypeScript, TypeScript. This is a pretty generic error, but I bet you if I search for it, other people are running into the same problem. Entries. Can I just say it's, what does entries actually do? Getting object keys, getting the values. Object entries. Type? What's the type of it? Because isn't it just like type uh, um, oh, maybe I want to do for each instead. Man, I don't know. I'm guessing now. Oh, didn't like that. Um, let's close all this. TypeScript map over object entries. Oh, if I could explicitly say this is going to be a string and this is going to be a string, right? I know that's not right. Did I read that right? What is the typing? Entries, returns. wait, I think I'm object entries map. Where's my, there we go. Okay, what the heck? What? What? Oh, oh, it's a two-dimensional array, so you're just taking index one and there we are. All right, so our values have no spaces in them, so I'll need to change that. But there we are. We have a drop down. You can select it. Let's get the label right on that. Name, category, label, category. And what we might do is like all of our constants, all of our choices fields, and maybe we'll put our choices in like their own section, are going to be this where it's like string and string. So we could turn this into a, or at least this part right here into like a constant select component, so that this kind of weird code only needs to be seen once. Or like even like a method, like a render choices from the back end kind of deal. And all you do is pass in the high school categories, and it does exactly that. But we can do that later. So that took a little while. Let's get that middle school. Oh, let's just leave it. I mean, this is just an example. I'm not gonna bother. But we do want to get the districts next, so let's just grab those right away. Districts. Let's assume districts is something that you would only ever need to see on like this page and maybe a districts table. So you're not going to call it from that many places. In that sense, or in that scenario, I would definitely recommend just making the call here rather than storing it in Redux, because it's not used in that many places and it can stay local to here. So we are going to do like exactly this. There's no use effect yet in here. Let's get that imported, use effect, and also use state, which we just used. Districts. Set districts to the response.data. This is called get districts. So whenever the component renders, because we're using the use effect with an empty array, define this method and then call this method. This method makes a request to districts and then sets the districts value. And now we just need to take this and we need to, one, I don't think this endpoint exists, and two, we need to take this and turn it into a dropdown. Let's check the endpoint first, see if it even exists. Let's get rid of that, there we go. So if we go to our URLs, we have schools, we don't have districts. So we need new endpoint for districts. Start with a serializer. So import the model. We're creating a new district serializer. Once again, serializers are used to define how the data is formatted on requests, both requests and responses. We're using a model or a model serializer, so it inherits a lot of the properties, so you don't need to write a lot of code. It's like crazy Django magic that is honestly terribly confusing sometimes. We're going to pass in the ID, the name, and the code. I'm going to make a note for a future video. But we're going to switch those IDs to unique UU IDs so that you can't like fiddle with them or whatever. There we go. We're going to return those fields for districts. ID is an auto-generated field, but that will change in the future. Go over here, import our new serializer, which is going to arrow because we didn't import it into our init. Import district, and then we're pretty much going to do exactly this with the district. Get all of them, use the district serializer, and import unused. That's no longer true. So we just created a serializer to format data. We just created like 4 endpoints, and now we just need to assign it to our URL. We didn't really create 4 endpoints, but it's pretty close. Let's import it here so we can actually import it in other files. And then register the districts endpoint with that view set, and now we have a bunch of endpoints. So endpoint done in like, what was that, 90 seconds? And now let's see if that endpoint runs. So, oh yeah, it's going to complain. Okay, let's go back to our form, our create school form. And district is defined but never used. We're going to create another select option. I'm just going to code all this because it's mostly works. District is required. Select an option, sure. The responsive or the type of districts is going to be an array of interface district. So we'll have to define that type as well. But if we go down here, we can just map over districts, and for each district, the value is going to be the district.id. The key is going to be district.id because that will be unique. And the value is going to be district.name. And then it's like ID and name don't exist on district. Yeah, not yet. Oh, just notice like randomly, we should import our school type here and say this is an array of schools. Perfect. This is the format I was looking for. So districts is going to be an array of district. Yeah, we're going to import that from types. It's going to say it doesn't exist because it doesn't. Export interface district. We're going to have an ID, which is a number. We're going to have a name, which is a string. And we're going to have a code, which is a string. And no errors. Okay, do a little refresh. Got our name, got our category, and district has a district that we pulled from the endpoint. So that all worked. Here's our request. Response is one option with an ID, name, and the code, and you can select it in the dropdown. Ta-da. Yeah, that's awesome. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take name, category, and district and take those values and pass them back to the backend so we can create schools right now, because right now we're just trying to pass a name and it's saying, no, you can't create a school without a district. So we're going to set up that endpoint so you can send all that data again. And I have no idea how you get the value from, oh no, I do. Right, this form is just like incredibly cool. Values. I'm gonna click post and we're just gonna see if this works, and it's gonna be great if it does. So another one bites the dust. It's a middle school, it's in the Caribou crate. It actually sent. Okay, the craziest thing about this, oh my god. Okay. So craziest thing is in this form, we're setting the field name to name, category, and district. District is using the ID you can see here. High school is using the value you can see here. And when you click submit, it's passing all the values to submit school, which is a prop from onFinish. So these are all the values from the form. They're named correctly to match the serializer back here. So when we create schools, there's a name, a category, and a district, and district's an ID, but by default, model serializers expect district to be an ID, so that just worked. And we sent those three values to the backend and created a school with all three values. That's just incredible. So, okay, actually, I'm gonna stop there. We can create schools again. We've got more fields. We've got a foreign key. Crazy stuff. Congratulations. We're now going to add all those fields into this table, but we're going to run into some issues with our serializers because right now the serializer is serializing district as an ID, but we might want the name of that serializer in this table. So we need to change our serializer, which is going to change our requests, which is going to break our create form, and we'll have to fix it. But for now, I'm going to stop there. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.